Wilson and robs Braun of a hit.
The Fort with a cannon shot to second.
All right, episode 2. First one I think went pretty good. Got a lot of great feedback. Nobody tried to beat me up or attack me, or I don't think they did you as well. So how you doing, big guy?
I'm good, buddy. Good to be back. Good to get episode 2. It's always good when you can get to it too. You know what I mean? That means the first one did pretty good, and I got a lot of feedback as well. And I think it's just good. It's good baseball talk. It's good life talk. So I think that's what attracts people to it is that it's real. It's real people just talking. So it's really awesome.
Truth, and you're just easy to like, Jack. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
No, it's I'm excited. I'm excited to keep going.
All right, before we jump into our first main event, you've been really busy.
Yeah.
You've kind of gone everywhere. Just give us a little rundown real quick, and then we'll get into a little competition that we have.
Yeah, a little road trip. I got to I'm in Arizona, but I was in down in Orange County doing the trials, finishing up the USA summer with helping Michael Kadire and the staff of USA Baseball to make the 18U national team roster, which they in turn went off to Taiwan, and they're currently playing in the U18 Baseball World Cup. They were the number 1 seed out of group play, and they're playing in the Supers today. So there'll be a first game in their Supers against the host, Chinese Taipei. So it should be a really good game. But it was a great week. It always is with USA Baseball and working with those players. And it's every year is different. Every year's got different talent, different styles, and your week is to kind of build a team. We always talked about USA taking the right 20, not the best 20. And this was an interesting case where it was really trying to make pieces fit a puzzle on what do we need here? What do we need here? Do we need 2 catchers? Do we need 3 catchers? And it's just a hard process to go through, because you got 44 kids with their dreams on the line over the course of the week, and we're very sensitive to that, and their dream of wearing the USA jersey and going to compete for their country. So it's great to make the team and to celebrate with those kids, and it's also very tough to announce that you aren't on the team and console them and let them know that their journey is not over because they didn't make a USA team. So a lot of emotions up and down, but we feel like we sent a good team over there to compete to try to get back-to-back titles. So a lot of fun there, and then traveled to go see Jake in Lansing, Michigan. Got to see a little bit of a homestand with the Lugnuts. Got to watch Jake play and hang out with him for the week, which was a lot of fun. And then from there, flew back to California to visit Point Loma University in San Diego, which is an awesome school. My daughter Jaden's a senior this year, and that's like her number 1. So if there's anybody from Point Loma listening to the podcast,
let's go.
Applications coming in soon. So I'm really excited for her. She loves it. So that was a very cool visit and to get to walk the campus. And then Disneyland the next day for Jersey's 16th birthday. Her birthday is coming up on the 19th, or the 20th. But with the Labor Day weekend, we were able to be there and go to Disneyland. So that's always fun. And then now back to Arizona. So 2-week trip, but very enjoyable with the family. So what have you been up to, sir?
First off, what's your favorite ride at Disneyland? Ooh. I've never been to Disneyland.
Really?
Been to the world, but I was 5.
Okay.
It's been a long time. Need to go back.
Right.
So
Disneyland, ride? I've been Matterhorn my whole life. Like I love the Matterhorn. Anytime you drive by it, like you always see the Matterhorn driving down the freeway. Like it sticks out, this big giant snowy mountain.
The Matterhorn?
Matterhorn. Yeah. It's a bobsled ride, and you go through Matterhorn, and there's a Yeti in there that scares the crap out of you, like every other turn.
In California, a bobsled?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
It's pretty sick.
I've kind of always wanted to, try bobsledding.
Yeah.
I feel like I was built for it. I don't know.
What? I think so. You'd be in the front.
Stocky.
Be the front. Yeah. Put your
I'd be the
down.
driver?
Yeah. You'd be the driver.
Yeah.
Be money.
Yeah, we should create a luge team. Yeah, why not?
They have a lot of great rides. They have a lot of new rides, but for some reason when I was a kid, I was always enamored with that roller coaster ride. So Always. That's the only ride we hit twice. Actually, we hit it twice. We hit Pirates of the Caribbean twice.
Of course you did.
That's a quick line.
You got pirate in your heart.
It's nothing I can do about it. It's in
And
blood.
Jack,
It's in blood.
Jack Wilson, Jack Sparrow, just saying.
Jack Sparrow, yeah. No, it was a great day. It was a great day. So it's good to be back though, getting a routine, sleep in the own bed. My wife Julie is an amazing cook, so not eating out all out of a hotel room is bliss.
Well, now I want to ask, what's your favorite dish?
From her?
Yes.
Everything. She's insanity. She's so good at everything. Like,
Hold on. Bonus points, Jack.
She doesn't need to hear this. She knows it. I tell her every time, like, what do you want for dinner? Just do what you do. Like, she's amazing. For my birthday, she makes breakfast for dinner and makes this huge, like, breakfast buffet for everybody that comes over. And she's amazing. I got super lucky with obviously her being awesome, but to be such a great cook. And gosh, so coming home is like going to a 5-star restaurant every night. So locked and loaded. Yeah.
When's your birthday again?
December 29th. You're coming to Cali. I'll be in Cali then.
December 29th, going to Cali. Yep, all you can eat buffet.
Breakfast buffet for dinner.
Yes.
It's for dinner. It's legit.
That's one of my favorite meals, breakfast. I love breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
So outstanding. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had to ask.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
It's good, man. It's good. I see you're doing your thing, working on post-game, pre-game, post-game. Pirates are playing great, finishing strong, which is good to see.
They are. They're playing really well. Had some tough news today.
Yeah.
I hate to see it, but Kutch hit a double last night. Was heading to third base and came up limp, and he has a partial tear in his Achilles. Opted out of surgery. He's in a boot for 6 weeks. But one of the first things he said after how disappointing it was, I'm going to get back to work. This isn't it. This is how I want it to end. And he wants to be a Pirate. And I think that's really, really cool. And us knowing him, we're going to get him on the podcast very, very soon and be able to talk to a lot of things. I think it'll be a little bit deeper now.
Yeah.
But did you ever go through a season-ending injury in your career?
Not actually around the same time. I had a ball come up on me like with 2 weeks left and kind of broke the tip of my middle finger when I was feeling a ground ball. But, that was, maybe 3 weeks later, it was fine. It just needed to heal. And I was like a pinch hitter at that point. I was like trying to hit with like one finger off the bat. It was the only way I could hit, but I could service as a pinch hitter, but that was pretty much it. So nothing like that. And it's, he's sitting on 299 homers. Yeah. So there's that nostalgic part of it. And, the question mark of, are the Pirates going to bring him back, which everybody's hoping for. I think it was an amazing sign this year and for where they're going with their young core. A guy like that in the clubhouse and a, future Pittsburgh Hall of Famer, it'd be great to have him back for sure.
Absolutely. Sure. I think we're going to get in some fun discussions, and I think he'll be a fun discussion talking about all the Hall of Fame stuff we want to get into at a later date because, he's a very intriguing, candidate, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that because I think they've handled a lot of things poorly, and I think you think the same thing. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but I think it's a good segue to go right into team versus team. We have something special. You're going to explain it because you came up with it. I absolutely love the idea.
Okay.
I feel good about my team, but I don't feel great.
Yes.
So go ahead and take it away.
Well, it is fantasy football season, which we'll discuss at some point on how big of a part of my life that is. But we're going to do some fantasy baseball in a sense right now where the challenge from me to Mike to Mac was to make a roster of 9 players with your DH, 1 pitcher and 1 closer for 1 game, winner take all. And it has to be made up of all former teammates that we played with while in the big leagues. So with our careers, the time we play in the big leagues, those guys that were on the roster that are on the team with us, those guys are all eligible to be on this fantasy roster. So Team Jack versus Team Mac, one game. They're going to play 1 game to win it all. And then the viewers get to vote on who they think would take the victory. And then out of those votes, we'll randomly choose one person, and we're gonna send them some autograph stuff, especially if they choose my team. So we're gonna take somebody. We're gonna give something away from this, which is great. We're gonna get some autograph stuff to somebody, but you got to vote on which team. Is it Team Mac or Team Jack that's gonna take this one game, take all? So you don't have to. No batting order. We'll just go by position. We could do a batting order, though. We could throw a batting order at the end. Let's just go defense right now, and then we can change to the batting order. And then, because that batting order can make the difference on how the offense flows. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I like it. And I think we should probably add in there, like, which team had a better defense, better offense.
True.
You know, we might as well go
your team's probably going to be more defensive oriented team, and my team's more about dropping nukes. I could say that you can make that case. I mean, I'm okay with that.
I don't know.
But I'm going to start
these teams right now.
Since it's my challenge to you, I'm just going to go ahead and start, and we'll go position by position. Since I challenged you,
okay, take it away.
I'm gonna start with my catcher, and I'm going to stay in Pittsburgh with the heart, and I'm taking Jason Kendall. I'm taking Jason Kendall as my catcher.
You know, he's tough.
He is.
He is.
He's going to play this game and the other 161. Just saying.
Yeah, I have a guy that's similar. He likes to play every day, and I think he'll be the future manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, Yadier Molina.
That's good.
Yeah, he's okay.
Good matchup.
Good matchup. And, hey, stay in the same division. Let me think about that.
Same division. Mm-hmm. All right, from there, I'm going to swing over to third base. This is where, all these guys are just going to be really good. But I'm going to go Adrian Beltre at third base.
No, you didn't.
Adrian
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yes.
I didn't talk you into that, did I?
No.
I didn't.
No. I switched from DH to third base. I have another DH, but I'm going to go with the fact that you talk about defense as well. I mean, Beltre's Gold Glover, one of the best defensive third basemen of all time. So it was a late scratch, but he's been inserted into the third base position.
Everybody remember that third baseman because when we
we
walked through this the first time,
it's okay.
There's another guy there, and it's one of his.
He's still in the lineup. He's still in the lineup. He might be nursing a hammy, so I got to put him in the DH spot.
Got it.
Things happen. Who's your third baseman?
Buckner. I get it.
Who's your third baseman?
little Buckner.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm going to stay with the Cardinals. Former teammate. This guy's got 10 Gold Gloves, a couple Silver Sluggers.
I think I know where you're going with this one.
Some platinum to his name. Just had a little baby girl, Nolan Arenado. He's pretty good. Yeah,
that's good. That's a good battle right there. That's a good battle.
I think he would be very, very happy to have your third baseman's career. If he ends up having that good of a career, I think offensively it could be very similar. Defensively, it could be very similar. So that one's going to be a tight race for me.
It is. I think he plays long enough. He can push those numbers for sure. Let's slide over to short. I had him. My last year was his rookie year, so it was fun to watch this young pup. Talk about defense. I'm gonna go with Drelton Simmons.
Yeah,
Platinum,
silly defender.
Platinum. I mean, the bat. He's gonna hit 9 for me. It's okay though, because he's gonna pick it. You're
always gonna pick that glove first guy up the middle.
You got to. You can't win without a glove first shortstop. Well, sometimes. Jeter did all right.
yeah. And that's funny you say Jeter because my guy's favorite player was Jeter. Troy Tulowitzki, in my opinion, one of the most underrated shortstops in baseball history. If he could have stayed healthy, I think he would have been maybe top 3 or 4.
I think so.
Middle infielders of all time.
Very, very underrated. He's got the Colorado asterisk in his name. I don't care. One of the top fielding percentage shortstops of all time for being that big, that strong, and that much of an offensive threat to also be that good defensively. Had range, had his arm. He could spin it and throw it like he could do everything. Yeah, to me, one of the best shortstops. So super underrated. Love watching him play.
His 2014 season, Jack, he was hitting, I believe, 370 when he got hurt sometime in mid-June, something like that. Just remarkable how good he was. And I mean, he took on that Mamba mentality. Legitimately. Like, I think at times it maybe was, a little much for him, because it wasn't necessarily his personality, but man, yeah, he was a special breed.
He's real. I'm glad he's coaching too. He's back in Texas. So He's a great coach, great mentor. Second base, I'm going batting title, Freddie Sanchez, another Pittsburgher. Boom. I'm going Freddie. Freddie's playing second.
And I know I've told you this, but he was one of my favorite players. I'm not going to say growing up because I was old enough to, be high school, college, whatnot, to watch him play, but I loved watching him swing.
Yeah.
And how hard he played. Both you guys.
He rakes.
Yeah, I looked up to both you guys the way you played. I'm going to go with DJ LeMahieu. Still in Colorado. I had one of the best infields I've could ever imagine when I was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's, I think, a very underrated player. He's a guy that doesn't need much. He usually wears one pair of shoes and uses one pair of batting gloves all season, and they have holes in them.
Yes.
He's right now in New York on a $100 million contract. I guarantee if you look at his batting gloves, they have holes in them. And that's the type of guy I want on my team at any point.
Grinder. Well, I think I know where you're going to go at first. Now that I look at your infield, I think I know who your first baseman is. But this one's pretty special. Also got him his rookie year. I'm going to go Freddie Freeman. Yeah, Freddie's real deal. I mean, I got to see it firsthand. A young player coming up, and he made big league pitching look pretty darn easy. It's not supposed to look that easy for your rookie year, and the adjustments that he made, and obviously what he's turned into. He's really special. So, Freddie Freed.
Yeah, he never left who he was.
Yeah.
When the game started to shift, he didn't shift. He just said,
for sure.
I am who I am, and I'm going to be really good at it. And
Can I give a whirl of a guess that who I think you might take at first base? I won't say it, though. I'll just give a hint. Does it rhyme with Rod Felton?
That's actually his alter ego. Yes.
Rod Felton?
Rod Felton, yes. Yes, it is Todd Helton. Absolutely.
Yes. Solid choice.
Yeah, I had to do it. He would probably hunt me down if he ever found out I didn't pick him. He took me under his wing. Yeah, he's really
– off if he didn't.
Gosh, he's really, really good. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, I hope. If not, that's an argument for another day. But he's a special breed of talent. And I think, if maybe he didn't play football too long and injuries didn't catch up to him, I think he would have been even better.
Hall of Famer, no doubt.
No
All
doubt.
right. Well, left field, we're going with Kutch. Another Pittsburgher. They're going with Kutch. He's moving to left, but he has to because the other two are staying exactly where they should be. But Kutch is going to left. Kutch is going to left.
This is where it gets weird for me, because you just moved an MVP caliber player to left.
Well, because
I know where it's going. I
think Kutch is going to be like, yes, sir, I'll go to left. That's what
he has a mentor now. Yeah, he has a mentor out.
When I show him the lineup card, and he looks at who's in center and who's right, he's going to be like, yes, I'll play left. So he's good.
Yeah,
he's good with it. I know he's good with it.
And to be honest, in those two guys' heyday, you may not even need a left fielder. You could just go 7.5, 8.5. Just let him play in the gaps. All right, well, I'm going to go with this small lad, no forearms at all, no breeding capability.
My goodness.
Is Matt Holliday.
And
I will say, because I put him on my team, I do get the future of his children.
Oh, you get the grandfather.
Absolutely. That's just part of it.
And Ethan. I'm sure there's another one coming. We just don't know yet.
Exactly. They'll probably adopt, and he'll be something too. So that's
amazing. Matty Holliday is another guy that is amazing. It was in our era, was one of the best hitters from standing at shortstop. One of the best hitters I'd ever seen. It didn't matter what you threw him, he could hit. Man, he's a big man that could hit. Mm-hmm. All right, in center.
Oh,
Ken Griffey Jr.
Junior.
Junior is in center.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say anything. I got nothing to say. That's it. Junior's in center.
How was he as a teammate?
Phenomenal. Amazing. Just a great dude and just loved baseball. And, exactly what you saw on the field. He was the kid. He was awesome.
You can't have it all. He has it all.
Yeah. No, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's a great ambassador for the game. He's taking pictures at college football, apparently, this weekend.
Him and Randy Johnson, right?
Yes. So love the kid. But yeah, Griff's in center.
All right. Well, I'm going to move your left fielder over to center for me, Andrew McCutchen.
Good.
He's my dude. Love him to death, and he was great when I played with him. He's still good today. So, that's my center fielder.
Fantastic. Starting to shape. Right field, probably hitting lead off for me. Ichiro Suzuki. and his 13,474 hits between Japan and the United States.
How many did you say? 13,000?
Pretty much. All right,
Yeah,
the
pretty
guy's
much.
a million hits. Yeah, Ichiro.
Started when he was 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Answer that one.
I don't, and I also want to know about him as a teammate.
Okay.
I've
amazing.
heard amazing stories about him.
It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Like, just a great dude, very welcoming. I was his throwing partner. I got traded there in the middle of the season, and I got traded for his throwing partner. So, like, long toss.
You had no choice.
Every day, bro. Every day. Long toss.
That's why you
I
still
feel
pump
like my arm feels great right now because of the 2 years I spent as Ichiro's throwing partner.
Yeah, you've built up an engine that you never can run out.
I have no nerve endings in my shoulder or my elbow. I think that's because I played long toss every day with Ichi. So, yeah, he's great. Love that guy. Very, very good teammate. Very obviously just an amazing competitor. And, yeah, fun to watch him do his thing.
One of my favorite things you've told me before is dude hit on his off days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he worked out on his off days. And 3 whole days off in the off season. Yeah.
Oh,
three big ones.
Yeah.
And
You just
then
took
right
a 2 week.
back at it.
You just took a 2 week. Adventure. Not Ichiro. Right?
No. His vacation is a weekend, and then he's right back on the field throwing and hitting. So he's somewhere right now in Japan, like playing with a high school team or something like that, like just showing up to practices, and he's doing something baseball. That's just him. He's a lifer. Like, we're lifers, and there's baseball lifers. That guy is eternal. That guy's an eternal baseball guy. Like, he's not going to be able to turn that off. He's going to be managing in the Japanese league someday, like Sadahara O, like with the Yomiuri Giants or something. Like, he'll be that guy. So,
yeah. Win a championship and then rise up into heaven. It's just it's over. Yeah, thanks, guys.
And we'll watch him do it. We'll watch him do it.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Oh, I'm not even going to come close, but this guy could have been, in my opinion, a Mike Trout type caliber player. He never put it all together, but Starling Marte, one of the most talented individuals I've ever played baseball with.
Yeah, he's real. Like, I think he's, like, talent-wise, 5 tools. Can do everything. Can run, can hit for power, can hit for average. I mean, arm, defense. Like, he's awesome.
You know they didn't want him at first?
Huh.
Yeah, when he came to the Complex League, like, there was one scout that bet on him. And
wow.
That's how he ended up in the, Pirates Dominican League, is somebody bet on him, and lo and behold, he's going to get at least 11 or 12 years in the big leagues.
And now, in 2023, he's on Mac's team. I mean,
this is true.
Look how far he's come.
This is true. All teammate team.
Yeah, all teammate team. All right, so my DH, nursing a little hammy, but he's going to be completely healthy for this game, not like Travis Kelce. He's going to be completely healthy for this one game, and we'll take him back when he was like mid-20s. But we're taking Chipper Jones as the DH.
So since you brought that up, I made this roster out, and I don't know if you could see it, but it says
in the sports world, if you want to be in this,
that DH right there. Who's that say? I'm not sure. Yeah. That's Beltre right there.
It did.
Yeah, late scratch.
Like, it's so fast. These things are happening right now. The whole world is seeing if Travis Kelce can play tight end tomorrow for the Chiefs against the Lions. It's just the way it goes. So everybody's going to be sitting tomorrow, looking at their lineup, deciding whether is he going to play? Is it going to be 1 hour before game time, and then they got to fill it in with another? They might have to go on the waiver wire or the free agency to pick up a tight end to throw in there, or they just go with the backup tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. So you got, in this world, Mac, we got to be ready for these adjustments. And the adjustment today was putting Beltre the third and Chipper in the DH. So things just got to roll with it, buddy. Sorry. It's a great effort. It's a great graphic, though.
All right. Well,
and it's going to take you 3 seconds to press copy, paste, move.
No, I'm keeping it the same. I'm going to put a line through it. That's what I'm going to do. Make sure everyone knows there's a line through this.
A little press release.
Scratched. Yeah.
But he's in. He says he's feeling good, so we're good.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jason Giambi is my DH.
Yeah.
He once
stole my strong boy.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep. He once stole my roster spot, but he was a teammate for a short time, and
counts.
He could flat out pinch hit too, man.
Yes,
I think he was like 47 when I played with him. Yeah. Still dropping nukes. Absolutely.
Good. All right, so we get 1 starting pitcher, 1 closer. I'm going to give you both right now. I'm going with King Felix on the mound with King's Court, and then I'm going to close it with Craig Kimbrell. So he's going 8, Kimbrell's going the 9th, and like primetime Felix, primetime Kimbrell. All these are during their prime time, of course.
Well, I'll take Garrett Cole in Houston and Joel Hanrahan, back in the day. I love Hanny. It was tough to pick. I know you thought I was going to go Mark the Shark or Jason Grilly, but there was something about, my rookie year and even my second year catching Joel. And you knew when he came in, it was game over unless we're in Milwaukee. Milwaukee cheated.
I loved him.
Yeah. They just somehow knew that the one heater we were going to throw in every time.
Wow.
It was remarkable. But those are my two guys. This could be a good game.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good game. Let me look at my phone. I think the Vegas odds came up on the game when we released the lineups originally, and I was plus 450 for the dub. So
that's weird.
Yeah. So
your team magically
you can't bet on baseball.
Third.
You can't bet on baseball. So
the only problem is you have your team is so athletic. I put all the big boppers in.
There's a lot of plaques in Cooperstown too on that team.
Stop it! We're talking about hardware now. Come on, now the only hardware that matters is winning and losing.
All your current guys are still playing, and they're probably gonna possibly have hardware one day. These guys have already been enshrined, so it's. But hey, we let the people vote. It's their decision. It's one game, so it's not a series. It's not anything. It's one game. Maybe a lineup will help. I'm gonna lead off Ichiro. Then I'm gonna go Freddie Sanchez in the 2, Freddie Freeman in the 3, Griffey in the 4. Then I'm gonna go Beltre in the 5, Chipper in the 6, 7 I go Kutch, 8 I go. I'm missing one. Kendall, and then 9 to Jonathan Simmons.
I'm not even going to say my lineup.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I'm not going to. We'll leave it to the fans.
I totaled it up. Overall, there's 1,700 home runs. There's 47,000 RBIs. There's a lot of stuff here. It's all right, though. Hey, you could get a vote. Your wife will vote for you. And your mom.
She won't. She's a realist.
Does your dog have a Twitter account? Because you can count that one too.
Both of them are winners. We don't have a McHenry household that we don't try to win, so they're going down with this ship.
They are now signing
sailing
up.
Smooth away.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll send some stuff out. We'll put some stuff out, some autograph stuff, and we'll pick a random person that votes. So we'll put it out there and make a little poll, and if you vote, we'll put you in a drawing, and then we'll randomize it through the computer, and if you get popped, send you some stuff. It will be autographed though, so that's good.
It will be autographed. I'm gonna go pay some people to vote.
Good luck.
No, yeah.
We'll see. I think it's good. You got a lot of followers that really like you, and a lot of people like the underdog, so they should like your team.
You played in Pittsburgh.
I did.
They do not like losing.
They don't like
losing. They're going to pick my team,
but they're still great fans, and they stick with their team. They're still they're diehard Pirate fans. They're still out there every year. They're upset.
By the way, you were a Pirate too, so that just kind of butts heads.
No, we're good.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
really
I'm just being a sore loser. Let me be a sore loser. I want to cry.
You don't know yet. Let the people decide.
I do, though. I do. I really do. I really do. I mean, maybe Cole locks it in for 7 innings. I don't know.
It could.
But we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we can do a simulation. Call MLB The Show.
We put it on MLB The Show and just have him play?
Yeah.
I don't know. King Felix back in the day is pretty disgusting.
He was disgusting. Yeah, I remember facing him.
Cole's got some power, but Felix will snap your crap in 7 pieces with that sinker changeup nastiness. So as long as you guys use bomb bats, you guys should be okay.
You throw out a bomb bat? Really? Really? That's where we're at now?
You might run out of wood by the 5th inning if I go prime Felix. I mean, you guys are going to put the ball in play. They're great hitters, but that dude was filthy. Filthy.
Humble brags. All right. All right. So moving on, I wanted to go a little bit more. Maybe this is a little bit of selfishness too. The trials.
Yeah.
We did the PDP together. And I want to talk about that experience. I mean, you whittle it down from 100 from the PDP, 100, I guess you could say 100 best players in the country when it comes to high school baseball players that are 17 years old or 18 going into their senior year. When you get to that trials, it has to be a different feel. It has to be something kind of special because those 40 guys come in, and I'm sure when they show up, they can't believe some of the guys that aren't there. And it's because of, the high standards, and you're trying to put these puzzle pieces together. Go a little bit deeper into that because I think it's really interesting and probably my favorite thing. And I'm wearing the hat every day until they win the gold.
Nice.
I've been doing it since I left, I think. But the standards there that are created and the high expectations of the character that should be, I guess, put at the forefront is more important than necessarily just the play on the field.
Yeah.
And I want you to go a little bit deeper into that. You've been a part of that organization for the last couple of years. You won the gold as a third base coach or first base coach?
Third infield.
So explain a little bit more of that because I think people don't understand how cool it is. And
it's incredible, just because you're kind of seeing right there like the future of baseball. Some of these guys are going to get drafted. Some of these guys are going to go play college baseball. So like you get to follow these guys and kind of their journey on their careers. But with 100, it's difficult because you're like, all right, we can only pick 40 of these and they have a week. So it's a lot of pressure on those guys to go out and perform. But we start with about 350 kids just to get to the 100, watching videos. But then we have a lot of scouts, a lot of pro scouts, a lot of scouts for USA that are out there watching them, getting feedback from area scouts from other teams. Because it is affiliated with MLB in order to come up with 100 that do get invited. And so it's not like, it's not a popularity contest. It's just like, okay, these are the guys that we are getting information back that these are the best in the country. And then we let them duke it out for the week. And we'll let them show their thing. So even when we're managing the teams in the PDP league for the, I think 6 games that they have, we're literally just allowing their talent to be talent, and encouraging them to steal bases and do what they do best and what got them there. So it's fun to watch them do that. And then the trials is definitely a different feel because PDP is a lot more relaxed where you're like, okay, you can weed out the guys that just have a really tough week, where it's like, okay, those guys are probably not ready for the stage, even though we do put a little bit of cushion on the fact that there could be a stud out there who's really good, who's at a really good past, but we are facing USA pitchers. So all the pitchers are nasty. And on top of it, you only get one at bat per pitcher. Like every time you go up to a plate, it's going to be another guy. So we factor that in on the offensive side, how difficult it is to hit and produce when you're facing a new guy every single time. You don't get to go back and be like, dude, if that guy throws me that 1-1 changeup again, you don't have any of that. So once we do that, we weed that out. And that's the staff in the front office that does that. Whoever's, in charge of those 4 guys that are going to man the national team. That's their job, is to take the 100 to the 40. And then the 40 is just another week. 44, because then we take 4 kids from NTDP, which is the 17U, which is a year younger. We take those 4 of that group, and they get to come compete for the national team for the 18U side. And we've had kids in the past show up and take spots from guys that we thought, like going into it, like this guy should be our right fielder, and then 17U kid comes up and just beats him out. He's just, they're just better. So it's pretty cool to see that. But same process where a lot of inter-squad games and you let them compete. You do start mixing in signs that they're going to use in the World Cup to try to get them familiar with how, like this year, Michael Kadire, how is he going to run his offense? What are the things he's going to do? Is it a team where we just a lot of power, where we're just going to let him swing? Like the last couple of years, we didn't have a lot of hit and runs or those type of things, just because we had such big power guys throughout the lineup. 1 through 9 can leave at any time. This year, more speed, athleticism. So more like, okay, this year we're going to probably be very aggressive on the base pass, a lot more, maybe more hit and runs, maybe button steals, whatever that he wanted to incorporate, we're going to incorporate into trials. And then kind of challenge them that way. Because then you find out if guys are missing signs. I mean, if you're a guy that misses signs over the course of the week, that could keep you off a roster no matter how good you are. Because if you get on first base and you don't know that we have a hit and run on, and all of a sudden, our hitter hits a ground ball or double play, we need to know if you guys can know the signs and repeat what we're asking them to do and execute. So it's a tough week. It's a tough week for the players just because there's a lot at stake for them. And but at the end of the day, when we get to those last 2 or 3 days, it's really difficult trying to usually at that time, about halfway through the week, we got about 15 of the 20 locked and loaded. Guys are pitching well. These guys have electric stuff. They're throwing well. They're getting guys out. Those guys are in. And then you have like those last 4 or 5 spots. And then the last day, it is always down to 1 spot. It's always roster spot 20. Like, who's the guy? Because in a sense, we talked about the right play. Like, in a sense, when you build a team for a tournament, you're taking the guy that you're going to play shortstop every game, the guy that you're going to play second every game, the guy you're going to play third every game. And you're running out pretty much the same lineup out there because you only have 20 guys. That's now pitchers and then two-way guys. So you're really making these are the guys that should play every single day. And then you need role players. You need guys that can play multiple positions, that can also pitch, that can come in and pinch run that you can trust, that can come in and pinch bunt that you can trust. So it's that last roster spot's always like a 3-hour deal for one dude. And it's just always a long conversation because everybody has a voice that you're there. That's a good thing about USA is everybody has a voice. And Michael Kadire was amazing this year of allowing everybody to put in their 2 cents on what they saw and what Mike described what he needed. And then the guys that we saw who could possibly fill that role. But it's always, man, roster by 20 takes a while. And then it's so people think like, oh, it's a popularity contest. Oh, and we'll get scouts to reach out to us like, why did this guy make it? Or why did this guy make it? Because they're looking at the pro side of it. And it's just like, we're trying to build a team to beat the other countries in a tournament play of 7 innings, 9 games in 10 days. That's what we're trying to do. It's not about the best prospects. It's not about who's going to be a pick next year in the first or second round. It's just right now, what do we need on this roster to win a gold medal? And then people say like, oh, look at all the, there must be something with the travel teams. Because apparently there's these big travel programs that I'm aware of. Canes is obviously a huge travel program. There's GBG, who's amazing. There's Arsenal. There's East Cobb Astros, I think. There's a bunch of these really great, amazing, and they usually have a lot of talent. But in 5 years that I've done this, I don't think I can name what one single player played on a travel team. Because it just happened that this year, I think a lot of Canes made the team. I'm like, I couldn't tell you who played for what. That's not what we're here for. No one's telling us, oh, they play for Canes National, so they should make the team. I have no idea. Well, none of us do. None of us even talk about it. It's literally just the person. And I'm not in high school baseball anymore. So what I see is what I see. So what I say is from what I see. PDP trials. I have no idea what their background is. And sometimes we have to dig into what their summer was like. How did they do at PG? How did they do at these other tournaments? Because we have that information too to see. We're also looking for consistency. He was good at PDP. How has he done since then in these other tournaments that he's played? And we can look up that information to help us if we need to make a decision between 1 or 2 players. We can look at that at what they did over those tournaments. But other than that, it's just straight up baseball guys. Most of these guys are either college coaches or professional baseball players, and we're just going with what we see in front of us. And then what kind of people they are, what kind of character are they showing in the dugout, what kind of teammates they are, what's their body language like? How do they deal with a guy who gives up a home run and you immediately watch the pitcher to see how he's going to react? How does he react to a pitcher or an umpire not giving him his calls? Things that you have to be aware of when you only have so many pitches, because we're on pitch counts too. So we only have certain pitches, then a certain amount of days off. So there's no oh, he lost it today. It could set you back in that tournament big time if someone can't handle not having things go their way. It could really set you back on how you use your bullpen and your starting pitching. So it's just information everywhere. It's a lot of that stuff going on. So it's a very intense, long process for the 5 days that we had trials this week. But in the end, you go with what you got and say, this is our team that we're going forward with. And then everybody's just hugging and clapping because we know how hard it is to come up with a roster of 20 players in this entire country at that age group. It is very difficult.
And what an honor. And I wasn't going to go this direction, but as you were talking, I was thinking in the recruiting process in college. You have a strong desire to be a college coach. You're going to be great at it.
Thanks.
And I see the same attributes being the best way to recruit kids. I just think about what Deion Sanders just did. He kept saying we're coming and we're going to win. Watch us. And I don't hear that very often anymore. I don't hear the belief in the human being much anymore. And I think the standards created at USA Baseball and what you just talked about is maybe the best way to recruit in college. And I wanted to kind of get your thought on that because you've seen a lot of different elements. I've done some with college as well, but those elements have really changed over the last couple of years. So like, would you take that same standard, that same like look and say, okay, this is the team I'm trying to build, or are you just trying to find the right kids?
Right. Absolutely. I think the most favorite thing I when I watched that game with Deion, and I've watched obviously since he got there, what he's preached, his videos. I mean, he's kicking guys out of the gym because they wore the wrong color socks. Like the standard that he sets for his players. And I think that how does Colorado go from,
which may sound silly to most people, right?
Right.
But like the way you do little things.
Yes. And
that's the way you do everything.
And that's his point. And I think people are looking at it. They're like, we see it. Some people might see it like, oh, players want to go to Colorado to play for Deion Sanders prime time because he was a Hall of Fame football player. And that's not the case because he believes and cares about his players like every single one of them. You can tell in his videos, he knows their name, and you can tell how he talks to them. And he says, we will win. And people see that like, oh, that's cocky. Like, no, he's establishing that standard with his players. Like, no, when you come here, there is no, we might win. Mm-hmm. It is, we are going to win. And that needs to be the thought process of everybody. And so when Deion says that, like, it's not him being cocky as a coach. It's him setting the standards for his players. And players are going to be attracted to the fact that that guy is not, even if the game was close or even if it doesn't win, he doesn't win that game. And people are still going to want to play for that dude because of like what he talks about. He talks about building people, building men. And it's not about the NFL or getting guys to the next level. Those guys are going to get there. His best players are probably going to have that opportunity because they're amazing. His son's probably going to have that opportunity. But it's how he talks to his players, about his players. It is a family and it's strict. And here's how we do things. And this is what we're going to do. So when he's looking at the press and said, what you believe now, because the whole time he's never had a different thought in his body. So at the same time, none of his players have ever had a different thought. So for them to walk into TCU is not a big deal because they expected to do what they did. They're not going to get caught up in all the bright lights and, oh, this team was in the national championship because their leader instilled that in him. So people are going to be drawn to Deion, where you and I remember Deion as a player. And I'd be like, dude, that dude was electric. Florida State. Like, I played against him when he was with the Reds and just loved watching him play. And that was his second sport. And it's not about that. It's about how he goes about his business as a coach and as a leader and a mentor is what makes him so special. And that's why I always said, you start there and the wins will follow. You start with building your team and being a leader and a mentor for your team, and the execution is going to go up. The playing for each other, the better teammate, the better person, it's going to be fun to watch. And I think I'm so excited to watch it just because that's what I aspire to being. If you're a coach, mm-hmm. Like he's more outspoken about that than maybe other coaches, but this is what we're going to do. And his players are 100% dedicated to whatever he wants and what the program wants. And that's what you saw against TCU was a dedication to their leader.
There's a quote that says, nothing great was ever accomplished without enthusiasm. Yeah. And I think it's contagious with guys like him. And everybody has, their different version of energy that they show, enthusiasm, excitement, whatever it may be. But I think you have to have it. And, me doing pro ball and watching MLB, a lot of times that's dead, especially when it comes to, a press conference or something. And I think people like him are refreshing. Yeah. Whether people think he's cocky or whatnot, I think it all starts with the word. That's a biblical principle.
Yeah.
What you think and what you say is ultimately what you're going to end up believing.
Yeah.
And he's created a belief system through what he's been saying over and over again, whether people wanted to listen or not. He's now, showing, hey, told you. I told you. And I think that's so cool. And every time I think of him, I think about a lot of the stuff from USA Baseball, watching you, build young men around you in a way that, society maybe doesn't do nowadays. You flirt the line of great coach, great mentor, good discipline, or great disciplinarian, and also like the fun aspect. You balance it all really well, and I think that's really important to be able to do. Obviously, with all the knowledge in the world. So, I just had to bring that up because I think it was really interesting hearing you talk about that and thinking about 99% of the people I talk to about college baseball is like, oh, I just don't want to recruit. Oh, I just don't want to recruit. I'm like, I feel like that'd be the best part, going in and saying, I'm going to take care of your son.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure no matter what, that they leave here a better human being or a better man, and they're going to go to class. They're going to do those things. All the little things that I think are more important than ever stepping on the foot of the field, because you're going to get this much time, even if you play 12 years in the big leagues like you did, or 7 years like me, this much time in the game. We have a lot more time outside of it. So what type of husband, what type of student, what type of business owner, all those things matter way more.
Yeah.
So I really respect that about USA Baseball. I respect that about you, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for all of it. So.
Yeah, I think it's tough too. I've seen coaches that are chasing the W, and a lot of times too, I need to keep my job. I need to win to keep winning my job, and it's just like, but if that's the focus, I need to keep winning. I need to win to keep my job. If that's your focus, then it's going to be really tough to have that relationship with your players if that's on the forefront. If my job is I'm going to build better men and I really want to win games, I think that's the better line. It says what goes first and what goes second, because I think what goes first drastically helps what goes second. You know what I mean? So if you want to win, but then you're worried about the player second, I think that's going to really show in your win-loss column. I think it's going to be in a negative way. I think if it's opposite, I always said a team together can beat a better talented team any day of the week.
No doubt.
Any day of the week. Anybody to look down and look at your third base coach and get the sign to bunt, and you have no other thought in my mind than to get the bunt down for your team because your leader's asking you to, that's going to be a winning team. You look down there and be like, dude, I'm 2 for 3. Like, I need to be swinging here. That stems from your leader. That stems from the time you had fall ball going into the season. That stems from the fact that that team is more centered around themselves, which probably means your leader's more centered around themselves. And they haven't projected how important it is to play and to hand off the baton to your next guy, how important it is to play the team game,
Yeah, just back that up a little bit and think about what you said is like creating better men and having a team that is a culture of, good people will drive a force that you really can't explain, opposed to having a bunch of dudes that are playing for themselves. But I think that starts, like you said, from the leader being willing to, one, be transparent, open, honest, and clear with, their plan that they have, and then being willing to listen.
Yeah.
Right back. It's like, okay, well, you got the bunt down. Great job. You were mad. Why? What's going on? Like, what's the thought process? Why did you not want to bunt? And they're like, oh, well, I was swinging the bat. Good. Okay. And then you give them a different thought process.
For sure.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying there. You can think whatever you want, but the Astros and the Mariners that are watching you here, they want to see you get a bunt down. You didn't even think about those little things that could be part of the reason this happened. And you show those kids over and over again that you are on their side. And I think it starts with discipline and responsibility always. You have to be able to say, hey, you have to be disciplined to do this. If you don't do it, there's a consequence. And I don't think there's enough consequences in today's world at all for right, wrong, or indifferent. And then also like give them a resposibility to fail.
Yeah. I mean,
you have
biblical.
To go fail.
Discipline is biblical. The
Amen.
Rod of correction. The rod of correction is the rod of correction. And there's a reason for it. Is that how can we, as Christian men, follow the Bible and what our Heavenly Father is saying because we have consequences if we don't.
Amen.
And we do. And that's why we pray for our forgiveness. And that's why we ask for our forgiveness. And that's why he gave it to us, is because he knew we were going to need it. Like Jesus went on the cross because he knew we needed it, and that we were all going to fall short. And so to me, it's a biblical process, and it's just gone away because this generation is more about pleasing them. The way that the parents work now is they're more fans than parents because their kid's good at a sport. So the discipline is not necessarily there because they're holding up and they're kind of admiring their kid because they're good at something.
And do you think that's because of the way it makes them feel?
I think it has a lot to do with how they were brought up in their home. I think in the 80s and 90s, if you're brought up and there's a rod of correction or maybe too much of it, not too much rod of correction, but maybe almost like not abusive in a sense, but there's physicality coming with it and they were just really hard on the person, that person now grows up and he wants to be the exact opposite of how he grew up. He wants to make sure that his son or his daughter doesn't feel anywhere near how they felt when they were kids. Because there was spanking, there was belts, there was ping pong paddles. Now that you can literally, a kid can call in and get your parents arrested if you get hit with a ping pong paddle or a spanking spoon. Like, okay, normal.
Did you say spanking spoon?
Spanking spoon, bro. You knew it was going to happen.
They didn't have those in the South. They said, hey, go pick out your switch.
Oh, yeah.
Go out there.
That's over. That's over. Like, you can't do that anymore. And kids have the power to, and that's okay. That's just the way it is now. But I was able to be a high school coach, and I could literally go through my clubhouse, and I could tell you who was spanked or not, who was disciplined, just on how they went about their business every day and how they dealt with me as a disciplinarian. I could be like, ooh, you were a don't do that anymore kind of kid, huh? And like, oh, you definitely got the rod of correction because that dude never crossed the line. Like it's just a different generation. It's different parenting than what it used to be. And not like it's wrong or right, but it's now coaches that had to, the coaches back in those days wouldn't fly here, with like grabbing face masks and pulling it in like in high school and like yelling at the guy. Like if a parent's in the stands right now, that's not happening, but that was normal. That was normal when I was in high school. Like if that happened, then your dad came down and he was pissed at you for getting him pissed. It's just a different way of life now. It is. But the job now of us as coaches is we have to make the adjustment for that. And a lot of the adjustment is, all right, we need to show love to them, but at the same time be stern and understand that there are consequences to what we do. I'm not mad at you. But you do have to, you did do this and you did do this and you knew it was against the rules. So these are the consequences. And I explained that to you and we're good. Like this doesn't carry over to another day, but I want you to know. And most of the time when I sit down a player, I'll tell them like, dude, I did the same thing when I was your age. And this coach,
I love that, by the way.
This to me. And I mean, yeah, it changed the way that I handled things from then on out. And if he hadn't done that because I was good at baseball and he hadn't given me that discipline that I needed, who knows which way I would have gone. If he'd have just treated me because I was really good and I had a different set of rules than everybody else, that probably would have put me on a completely different path. But that guy said, listen, I don't care how good you are. What you did was wrong. And you're going to do this instead of playing the game today. And that changed the path for me, So I think that's what I hope to do. That's what I hope to do as a coach is to.
There's no hope about it. You will.
Yeah, I think no, but you have. I also was not that good at it when I started coaching. I was hard because then I was like some of the coaches that were hard on me early on. But it's something you have to learn. It takes time to find out how to deal with a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kid because that's all going to change over the course of time just on how the world is going. So you have to adjust to that consistently. I think just gotten to the point where I want them to know that I love and respect them, but there are things that need to fall in place. This is my program. This is how we do things. And I need you to do this, especially you being a leader and being one of the better players. I'm going to hold you accountable, regardless if you went 4 for 4 home runs the next day, you got to be held accountable for what you do. And it's just going to make them better men and prepare them and hopefully put them on a different path to success. And then maybe they become a coach one day and it's full circle, and they start teaching what they learned, so that's the goal, is just to pass it, pay it forward for the people that made a positive impact in us, in our lives, our coaches, our mentors, stuff like that.
And something that you said was love and respect. And I think that's super important, but how do you get them to respect the bigger picture? I have my own like thoughts and feelings on this, but like, kids want something that's right in front of their face.
Right.
We're in a society and we're in a world now that everything is right there at your disposal. Like we talked about Fortnite in the last podcast, and everything's distracting, everything's right there, and instant gratification is what everybody wants. That's why weight loss industry is probably one of the greatest industries in the last probably 3 decades, making a fortune. So like, how do you in your sample size get kids to understand, like, hey, what are your goals? What's the plan to get there, and how would you fail?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they ever look at that, because the perspective that they could gain from, people like us that'll tell them the truth, because we do love them and we do respect them, but that's not the norm anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that? Because, I've been blessed to coach a lot of kids, do a lot of camps, mentor a lot of kids, and seen them succeed. And there's some common things that happen, and you can see it. And the more the parents are involved, honestly, it's usually the worse things are. I've seen, and what I mean by that is the hoverer.
Right.
Because they are trying constantly to figure out how to gain that respect.
Yeah.
That they're growing up and they're adults. So how do you balance that, with the different personalities, different, elements when it comes to parents, administration, and everything else that you've dealt with?
I think that for players, like I always on the forefront of when school started, and we're talking about our first meetings, and it's literally laying out the goals, and none of it was my goals. Like the goals that I want for the program, for the team means nothing, because I can believe in it all I want. If you guys don't, then we have no chance. So my thing to them was like, okay, going around the room, what are your team goals for this season? What do you as a group want to accomplish? And they'll start listing it out. Oh, we want to win league. We want to win CIF, which is the state championship for California. And then at the end of that, they just start going, anybody else, like team goals. And I said, okay, now with those goals being set, will you now allow me to hold you accountable to those goals that you're asking?
Oh, I love it.
Because now what I'm going to tell you is, in order for us to get there, it is going to be very difficult. It's going to be hard practices. It's going to be a short memory on whether we won or lost the day before. But you have to allow me right now an agreement that you will allow me to keep you accountable to what you're saying right now. Because if you're saying you want to do this, and this is what everybody's agreeing on, then you have to allow me to lead you there. And how I feel and you have to believe in me as your coach, that I believe we can do this, but you're going to have to allow me to hold you guys to that as a group. So I gave them the opportunity to tell me what they wanted. And then I would also do that on individuals. Like, what do you want? Write it down. Like, tell me what you want, because we have goals throughout the year that can change. We have small goals. Oh, I want to be this. I want to be that. And then you remind them periodically, hey, remember you told me this is a goal you wanted, and to keep it fresh, because we can always make new. I want to break the hit record. And then you see him falling short, and then you're like, okay, you might not get to the hit record, but what about hitting 450? If you have 6 games left, if you get this many hits in those 6 games, you can hit 450 and be the leader in our league in batting average, and you make them make a new one that's obtainable. So I was about making like a season long. Yeah, this is what I want to do, but having the ability to say, okay, that might not happen, but doesn't mean I can't make a new one. That I can get, and make those, little itty bitty, this weekend I've had a tough week, but if I have a great weekend here, over the course of the week, I'll hit 320, little itty bitty ones. And just as a coach is just holding them accountable to that. So much so, if you tell me this is what you want, you have to tell me now that you can allow me to hold you to that, because I'm going to hold you to that. Because if you tell me, hey, we just want to go out and have fun, then I'm just going to go out and I'm going to do my job and let you have fun. Because if I can't want it enough for you as a head coach,
you can't want it more either.
Yeah. it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I believe if you don't believe it too. So that's the bigger picture, was just always we called it, when we won CIF my last year coaching, we called it checking off boxes. And it really meant, it's like, we knew that we had to win 30 games to win, the Southern California CIF section. We knew it was 30 games. So after game 7, like after the game, we don't really talk much after the game, but it's like, okay, we win. Like, all right, sweet. Congrats. Check the box. Game 7. Next day, hey, game 8's tomorrow. We got another box to check. And we talk about and really bringing it back. And next thing you know, they win 20 something in a row. And you see practice start to slip again. You stop practice. Hey, have we checked off 22 yet? Remember, because we talked in the beginning that we needed 30, and we're only at 21. And I know you're 21-0, but that doesn't really matter because that has no effect on game 22. So we need to restart this practice. Let's restart this drill because we can't get to 30 without 22. So that was kind of an example of what we would do because we had such a talented team. We were number 1 ranked. And that was the biggest thing I was proud of for them, is like, we were number 1 ranked to start the year, and we never left that one spot because we were so focused on not caring what was written about us, not caring what the national rank was. It was always about checking the next box. And that was on the forefront because they allowed me to keep them accountable for what they wanted.
I love that. I mean, it brings in a giant perspective of like, play today, worry about tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm a big believer in small wins.
Yeah.
And defining those wins for yourself as an individual, and then also, as a team. And they're completely different as an individual than they are for a team.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have a hard time for that. Like I've dealt with some guys in the military and stuff. And they deal with all this awful depression. Sometimes I'm like, dude, just get out of bed. Win.
Yeah. Start.
Yeah, just start.
Yeah.
Take the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it goes a long ways.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I can't tell you how much I love the thought of working towards the end and working backwards.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. And when I tell kids, they're like, I want to do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, how would you fail?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a little extreme for them. So that thought process is like, all right, well, are you cool with me holding you to that type of accountability?
Yeah.
And most of the time, I think kids would say yes, but not really understand what they're saying yes to.
For sure.
It sounds like you did a really good job of keeping them in line. And I think that's really hard as a group of 16, 17-year-olds for sure.
Yeah, I think it's important to say too, because we've had some comments come in. I've had some comments, and especially when we're talking to coaches that are watching this, I got some feedback on some stuff, but it's understanding that it wasn't like this all the time. I was really not good at this, but I think the one thing, if you want to be,
well, hold on. I'm going to make you rephrase that. It's not that you weren't good at it, because that couldn't be so. I've seen you coach.
Well, no, because here's the thing. I was great at the baseball side of it.
I was going to say you didn't know where to direct the precision of your focus.
Right.
I think that's – I just talked to a great human being the other day, and he told me that's something I need to work on. And I was like, that's brilliant. I never thought about that. He's like, yeah, you have an extreme ability to go all in with your focus, but you can't do that with a group.
Right.
You give me an individual, I'll pull every ounce of potential you have in you if you allow me. And you're the same way. Now you have to figure out how to do that with a group, with all the other elements. And I think that's where the time comes in.
Yeah. And I think too is you have to be willing to consistently learn and adjust. And the amount of mistakes I did make, dealings with players, dealing with their parents, on looking back and being completely wrong on how I handled things or what I said or what I did, and watching in a lot of clips of legendary coaches, like, why are they, it's almost like when we were players, like watching hitters that were the best, like, why are they so good? Why are they so much better than everybody else? I started doing that with coaching. Like, okay, why does Nick Saban win every single year? We can look at Deion. Why is Deion successful? And you got to a program that doesn't win football games. Why is he successful? Like, what are they saying? What are they doing in order to have that success? So as a coach, it's so important to realize that even John Wooden said, even after he retired, like he still wanted to be a better coach than what he was. When we all saw him as this unbelievable, great mentor and coach, one of the best, probably top of all time, coaching at his sport, still thriving to be. Sparky Anderson was the same way, still wanting to learn, still wanting more and more knowledge on how to be better as a person and as a coach. And I think I was lucky enough in baseball to always want that drive, to always want to be better, to always want to learn more and more from people and from other players. And I would go watch guys and BP take ground balls. Like, how do they attack this ground ball? Oh, I've never seen that done. Watch Omar Vizquel take ground balls. Watch guys hit BP. I was always a student of that. And in coaching, like, you have to be a student. You have to continue to be a student and to learn from your mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes, but just try to lock in on the best and what they do and why they do it and what makes them successful. And I think coaches sometimes, whether they had a career or they played college ball or they know a lot about baseball, whatever level they're at, I felt like, gosh, I played 12 years in the big leagues. I could 10U, 11U, 12U. This is going to be cake. But that's just baseball. It has nothing to do. I think head coach is more about leadership and leading young men and making better people. Like running a 12U team, baseball-wise, yeah, we're going to win a lot of games because I can pretty much outcoach everybody simply because I played a long time in the big leagues and I was a student of the game. And I love when I started, that was the thought process of like, all right, we're just going to win all the time because I'm going up against dads. And yes, I can make an impact in the game as a coach on what I can call for a pitch. We got 5 bunt plays and we're 13. Like, we can mess with some people. We got trick plays. We have all that stuff. Yes. But in the beginning, that was my focus instead of, gosh, I really need to do a better job of mentoring these guys. And I would never tell them about the mistakes that I made as a player. I would never tell them those types of stories because I was almost embarrassed to. Where now it's just like, dude, check out what I did. Look how much of an idiot I was when I was 16. These are the things I did when I was in the minor leagues that was stupid. Like, now I'm an open book because I feel like the connection with the player when they hear of your miscomings, it just gets closer and closer, and that's when you make that impact. So just as coaches, just always strive to learn more, no matter where you are, baseball IQ, like just never be satisfied. Never be sad. I won't be satisfied with I won a gold medal last year. I told the GCU guys last year, I won a gold medal. Yeah, that happened a week ago. And I'm super proud of it, and I always will be. But I want to win a WAC championship now. Like, I've already flipped that page. Like, it's next. Like, it's great. It's a cool thing to have. I have it. It's a really nice gold medal. There's a lot of memories there. But I got something's next that I got to be ready for, and I got to keep getting better so I can better serve my players.
And that's what you have to instill.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. That persistence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing I've had a problem with, Jack, is I'm obsessed. I get in, and I think you can be that way too. And then the balance of that, finding that balance. And I was having a conversation with my wife the other day, and trying to take aim at something. I've taken aim at 7 things, and 7 of them were successful. I've taken aim at 10 things, and 9 of them were successful. Mm. And the problem with that is, it's like you've gotten away with it, but that chaos is not thriving at all. And
right.
I think a lot of coaches lose sight sometimes. And hey, focus on the now, move to the next. Because like you don't want to hang your hat on that. You want to continue to learn, continue to grow, and I think that's super important. I think you can learn from anybody.
Right.
I think that's what makes Nick Saban, Deion Sanders, John Wooden so different, is the ego's dead.
Yeah.
It may sound like it's not, and you have to have a little bit of ego. I don't know, maybe some egotistic tendencies or narcissistic tendencies to be great at anything. I mean, that's just the name of the game, because you have to be selfish in some sense. I think it's just a confidence. Yeah, exactly. You literally read my mind. But those guys learn from everybody. And the fact that Nick Saban's had how many assistant coaches or offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators leave and just try to beat him. And he knows why they're coming in.
Right.
But he's like, well, what can I learn from them?
Yeah.
What can I, do to really understand them? And they keep coming to me. So that means they're going to ask him questions that he could never think of. And that's going to give him a chance to grow. And I think the last thing I would say, I think I actually made a graphic on this, is like you have to engage, encourage, and empower people. And I think we do, as a society, a terrible job, and especially as coaches nowadays, we kind of skip the engaging part,
Right.
because we're constantly getting engaged. Like,
Yep.
how many people want us to do a camp or speak here, or, let little Johnny play shortstop because he wants to be a shortstop.
Right.
With like, okay, well, why should he be?
Yeah.
Convince me that, and we'll talk. He hasn't shown up to extra ground balls. He doesn't do the work when he's here. He's always, doing, and they don't know that most of the time.
Right.
The parents don't, or even the kid doesn't even think through it, because the more talented kid can get away with more
Right.
at a younger age. So yeah, I think that's really, really neat. I could talk coaching with you all day, and I think we're going to have a lot of focus on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's good too, because something I wish I'd have had back in the early days, is to have this perspective where it's like, and another thing too is remembering how hard the game is.
Amen.
That's another one that I had to overcome, and Jake would have a bad game and be like, "Bro, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Wait a second." I did that all the time. You swung a pitch over here, and I'm like, I think I swung a pitch up here. Like, it's remembering and understanding that this is the hardest game on the planet, and it's really difficult, and we just want our kids to be awesome. We want them to succeed, and sometimes it just takes over. But
and one, I'll wrap it up after this. I think you always have to stay in it.
Yeah.
If you can move well enough. And that's one thing when I met you and you get jumped on a mound, you're, hey, come catch my bullpen. I'm like, we're going to get along great.
Let's go.
The reality of it is, if I'm not willing, as long as I can do it physically, not willing to swing a bat, not willing to, jump in the box and hit against a pitcher throwing 90, all those things are important so you don't forget.
Right.
Because the further you get away, the easier the game seems to get, right? Because you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you right now, when I'm not throwing all the time, it's hard to get in and throw BP and throw every single day because you have to do it. You have to jump in. And it's hard to back it up when I've been doing biomechanics and reading swings to talk to a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Those are all things you have to learn. And it's different throwing at fantasy camp to those guys comparative to throwing to some of the best 17-year-olds on the planet.
For sure.
Like, you have the older fantasy.
I'm nervous when I throw to those guys. I'm super nervous when I throw to those guys.
Well, yeah, because they'll
all those scouts there. You're like, dude, please just don't just give them some good pitches to hit. Don't mess it up.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother element that like you don't think about, but that reminds you this game is difficult.
Yeah,
it is hard. And
I get a reminder in about a month. I have the 40 and over World Series here in Arizona that I play.
Come on.
Yeah. I got it. Gosh dang, I got the waiver. I got to sign. I got it in email today. So yeah, I'll start.
Can you recruit? I got 2 years.
You're 38, dude. It's got to be 40.
I know, 2 years.
In 2 years, you can come catch for 100%. The problem is that I'm our catcher.
Oh, well, you don't need to be back there. You need to be your shortstop.
I don't play infield.
Why?
I play outfield because infield was my job. This is Little League, dude. This is going back, and I love, like you say, Stinnett. There's a bunch of former guys. We had Corey Hart was on our team last year. I got some minor league teammates that come out and play with us, and it's just the love of the game. And I go out there. I hit left-handed. It's wood bat. I hit left-handed, and I play center field. I play all outfield positions. I catch and I usually close. But it's like playing Little League for me. It's like. And it's tough sometimes. Some guys will give you a hard time. Like, dude, you're big leaguer. I'm like, I love the game of baseball. I always have. And this
isn't a job anymore.
I'm still able to play. And this is a blast. I put on gear and I get to catch. Like I never, once you get to high school and you're serious about a sport, I never did anything but infield. I'm like, I get a catch. I loved playing stickball in the backyard, hitting left-handed with stickball with my brother. So I was like, I can make contact. So I hit left-handed. I don't even like hitting right-handed. It's boring. And I'm like, that was my job. Like this is, I thoroughly enjoy this part of the year because now it gives me something to work out for. So I got about a month to get in shape to not pull a hammy, trying to run down a ball in center. But I get to play baseball again. Like, and it's competitive. There's guys that got up to AAA. Like, it's 84 to some guys are up there 88, 89. Like, they can pitch. Like, it's good competition. They're coming from all over the country. A team from Canada comes down, and it's a blast. We end up playing the same team from California every year, the Angels. They're awesome. We always play them in really good games in the championship, and we have fun with it. Like, those guys are fun to play against, and I can't wait. I look forward to it every year.
That's awesome. We're going to end right there. Be a kid.
Go SoCal Snappers.
Do you have a hat? I want one of the.
We do. It's the Beloit Snappers hat from the A-ball team that used to be for the Brewers. I don't know who they're with now, but it's the turtle. It's the Beloit Snappers turtle, and we're the SoCal Snappers.
Well, whenever you make the championship, I'll uni up.
Yeah.
As a fan.
We'll have to keep up. We'll do updates on the show on how we're doing, and hopefully the batting average is okay, and hopefully we're driving in runs and having a good time. Hopefully ERA stays down. These guys can hit, man. You can't, like, it's not just my first year. I got lit, and I was throwing a lot harder then. I got lit. I was like, I got pulled after one inning. I'm like, dude, I'm all right. But I realized I'm like, I got to go be that crafty guy, like sidearm, slow curveball. Like, they can hit the fastball. Like, it's
bring in the
85.
knock. Don't wash away the knuckleball.
Yeah, the knock comes out when I need like a dirt ball with 2 strikes. Throw it really hard and let it like look like a little split. But no, I got to throw some bullpens and be ready and catch some bullpens. I'm excited. I'm going to get ready to go here pretty soon. Now that I've signed the waiver, it's real. It's real.
Man, I'm kind of fired up. I want to go run through a wall
fun.
now. Yeah,
it's
thanks.
fun, dude. You might have to come out
awesome.
to AZ in a couple of years.
I will.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Hey, appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey,
as always.
It was amazing. Always is, dude. And don't feel bad about the loss. It'd be fun.
We were in a good place.
We were in a good place. I wanted to make sure that after you see the polls, and you might have an upset, dude. People might be like, I love the Rockies. And the entire 5 guys you have on your team that are from Colorado, I love them. But you're going to not get the Pittsburgh vote because you only have one. Oh, you have 2 Pirates. So I have more than 2 Pirates. Wait, no, I have 2 Pirates. I do only have 2 Pirates.
Yeah, you just threw yourself under the bus there.
Oh, I have 3, Freddie. Yeah, I got Freddie. I forgot about Freddie. I got 3. It's all right, buddy. It'll be good,
You have somebody with 13,157 hits. So I don't know if we can beat that.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
I wonder if I got that number right. I'm going to have to check.
Hey, if you did, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sick.
Just call me Rain Man if I did. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no
Toothpicks.
problem. Hey. All right, bro. Appreciate you. We'll do this again soon.
All right, buddy.
All right, see ya.